Hello, my name is Stewie Dubins, and I simulated every possible battle between gym leaders, Elite Four members, and champions. That is over 5,000 unique battles to find out who is the very best. In this one, I'm going to be going over Gen 5 trainers and ranking them by win percentage versus other trainers. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe and let me know what you think the hardest trainer on this list is. At number 13, for Gen 5, I have Cress, who is one of the waiters who changes based on your starter you pick. He ended up with a win percentage of 5, which is good for 107 out of 108 total. For this one, I went with the original Black and White, not Black and White 2. I recently finished a series where I ranked every Pokemon in a very similar way to this, and Cress's team of Panpour, Lillipup had an average ranking of 922nd overall, which is bad even for a Gym 1. His best win came against Jasmine, the 6th gym leader from Johto. At 12th, I have the 2nd gym leader, Lenora, who finished with a win percentage of 8, which was 104th overall. Her team of Herdier and Watchog had an average overall ranking of 678. Her best win came against Rika, the ground-type Elite Four member from Paldea. Having a mono-normal team that is underpowered even for a second gym is really tough on these rankings. Really, the only thing you have to watch out for with Lenora is Retaliate from Watchog after the Herdier goes down, and you're good. That's a black and white game tip for you. That's what you get when you watch Stewie Dubins, cutting edge information and guides. At 11, I have the 3rd gym leader, Berg. Berg finished with a 22 win percentage, which was 92nd overall. Berg's team of Whirlipede, Dwebble, and Livni ranked on average 576th. His best win came against Volkner, who was the 8th gym leader in Sinnoh. There are some good bug type trainers on this list, but this is not one of them. You definitely have to work a lot harder than this to make bugs good. At 10, I have the 7th gym leader, Bryson. Bryson finished with a 36 win percentage, which was 81st overall. Bryson's team of Cragonal, Beartick, and Vanellish had an average ranking of 460th overall. His best win came against Drake, the Hoenn Elite Four member. If you watched my Diamond and Pearl video, then you constantly heard me praising how much work Game Freak put into designing their teams in that game. I think it really made it difficult to make a more interesting game when they have such limited choices of only being able to pull from Gen 5 mons, which I would argue is not the best generation in terms of choices. And what we're seeing thus far is low powered level team after low powered level team without any coverage. Speaking of low powered level teams, at number 9, I have Elite Four member Marshall. Marshall won 39% of his matches, which was good for 76th overall. His team of Throw, Sock, Conqueror, and Mienshao had an average ranking of 476th overall, which I know I keep trashing this gen, but this is really bad for an Elite Four member who are typically in the 250 to 300 overall range. His best win came against Alder, the champion of this region. Fighting types have really struggled on this list thus far, but having no coverage and very low powered level team isn't helping his cause. Number 8, I have Elisa, who finished with a win percentage of 43, which is good for 71st overall. Her team of Tuamolga and Zebstrika had an overall ranking of 523. Elisa's best win came against champion Wallace of Hoenn. She's got a flying type to beat ground types that would normally threaten electrics, but like I said, really doesn't have that many choices when team building, so there's really not much you can say about her team. At 7, I have Elite Four member Caitlyn. Katie finished with a win percentage of 48. Her team of Reuniclus, Musharna, Sigilith, and Gothitelle ranked on average 305th overall. Her best win came against Nessa of the Galarian Elite Four. Katie has some decent mons, well, really just the one and Reuniclus, but her main issue is that she has no coverage outside of one mon with flying, and every single one having an immunity to dark. I know I'm being harsh, but this looks like a Gym 5 or 6, not an Elite Four team. At 6, I have the 6th gym leader, Skyla, who finished 59th overall with a win percentage of 49. Her team of Swoobat, Unfezant, and Swanna ranked on average 368th. Skyla's best win came against champion Alder of this region. This is the first team on this list that at least has some synergy. She's got a water type for rock types that threaten flying types. And to be fair to her, Unfezant is one of the worst regional birds, so that's not really doing her any favors. I would like to apologize to the 5 Unfezant fans out there for the previous statement. At 5, I have the first good team on this list in Gem 5's Clay. Clay won 54% of his battles, which is good for 46th overall. His team of Krokorok, Palpitoad, and Excadrill ranked on average 408th overall. His best win came against Kukui, the champion of Alola. Now this is a solid team. You've got Excadrill for grass types, and Palpitoad gets water absorbed for water types. I don't think this one has water absorbed, but it's the thought that counts. Evolve his Krokorok into a Crocodile, and evolve his Palpitoad into a Seismitoad, and put him on the Elite Four, and he probably does better than most of them. Heck, he probably does better than most of them right now, currently, with this team. At number 4, I have the 8th gym leader, Drayden. Drayden finished with a win percentage of 60, which was 36th overall. His team of Fracture, Dradagon, and Hexorus ranked on average 291st overall. Drayden's best win came against Blue, the champion of Kanto. Dragon types have fared really well in this list thus far. It's a type that has a lot of resists and not a huge amount of weaknesses, and there are a lot of high power level dragons. This isn't even a good team, and that alone gets him into the top 4 this gen. At number 3, I have Elite 4 member Grimsley. Grim finished with a 65 win percentage, which was 30th overall. His team of Scrafty, Liepard, Crocodile, and Bisharp had an average ranking of 274th. Grim's best win came against Seabold of the Kalos Elite 4. His team has some decent coverage in fighting, ground, and steel, but still no answers for fighting types whatsoever. Mandibuzz, which is a Gen 5 mon by the way, would have made this team 1,000 times better, but it's left off for some reason. At number 2, I have Elite 4 member Chantal, who won 66% of her matches, which is good for 27th overall. Her team of Cofagrigus, Jellicent, Chandelure, and Golurk ranked on average 213th overall. This is actually the highest ranked team this gen. Her best win came against Gita, the champion of Paldea. This is another solid team. They've got a lot of coverage, and Ghost by itself is a solid typing. For the most part, they're just really slow, and it definitely holds her back from entering the top tier. At number 1, I have the champion Alder. Alder finished with a 74 win percentage, which was 17th overall. His team of Isolgor, Bouffalant, Vanillux, Escavalier, and Volcarona had an average ranking of 272nd overall, which is kind of low for a champion. Usually they're in the high hundreds, low 200s. His best win came against Hassel of the Paldea Elite 4. His team has some good coverage, but also has a lot of bad mons. I'll give him a bit of a break because the climax of the game is the N and Getsis fights, which if I rank those, they'd probably end up in the top 10. All in all, this is a pretty disappointing sequel to the Gen 4 list. To be fair though, the Black and White 2 games are a lot better in terms of difficulty, and I think that is mainly due to there being a larger variety of mons to choose from, so there's that. So that's my list. I'm going to continue with this series, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see the rest of these videos. Thank you and goodbye.